This is designed specifically for granite Jelco. So this was not a unit that was adapted for granite. This was designed for granite from scratch. I'll go over the basic components of the unit. This is a 5-gallon tail pump. Small internal volume, which is key for color changes. We're gonna do a color change.
He's promoting you.
I don't know if
he's promoting you.
I don't know if he's telling that I'm started or I'm gonna start from what. Anyway, so we're going to do a color change during this. We've got material mixed up in this pail right now, and we're going to spray that mold in a little bit. And then we're going to do a color change, and then we're going to spray on different cardboard for the second color. Not everybody does this, but this shop sprays clear gel coat on the mold first,
I've never seen this either.
and then sprays the granite. This is a wet granite system. This is not dry chips, which we have something like that also, but this is for wet. So this is the pump. It's a catalyst slave pump, which is nice to be able to do that. A 3-gallon solvent tank, acetone. Here's the catalyst bottle, holds 2 gallons of catalyst. So that will probably last you all week doing this stuff. Air control manifold, catalyst manifold, and that's pretty much it. It's on a cart. We just got to bolt it down to a pallet here, ready to just bring it in here. But we got the cart, and the way this is set up, you can just pull on the hoses, and this will follow you each time. So unless you want to sit in one place, like this situation would be. One of the keys is the gun. All right. This gun is, stand back a little bit here. This gun is set up, it's a straight through. If you didn't have this hose on this, when you pull the trigger, you can look right through this gun. And it's designed for granite so that there's no 90-degree corners anywhere in this flow passage. It comes out of the pump. There's no filters and there's no inlet strainer because that's something you can't have with granite. So when you mix this stuff up, you don't want to throw your cigarette butts or anything down inside there. It'll get plugged up in the system. So if anybody's fooled with granite before, you know inherently the big problems that this stuff wants to plug up. And we've designed this. Every one of the fluid passages and in the gun are all what we call taper board and bore mats. There's no shoulders anywhere. Even the hoses, the hose fittings, before we assemble them with the hose, we machine those to a taper to a point. So there's nowhere for anything to hang up on shoulders. Even the internals of the pump are all streamlined so that it flows very nicely. But you're going to get plug-ups. This gun is set up and designed so that you can, it's got a little nozzle tip here. Usually if it's going to plug up, that's where it's going to plug up. So got a little wrench here where you can take this little nozzle tip out. And clean that out, blow it over there, and put it right back in. And another trick I've seen some people do is the way this gun works is it's got a valve rod in it, an air piston down in the black part. When you pull the trigger, the valve rod pops up, and it's got a hole in it that lines up everything. So there's no needles, no seats, or anything like this. So when it pops up, if you shut off the air to the trigger, it'll stay popped up. And you can stick a wire or something up inside here and clean any jams that may come up. It's just the nature of the beast dealing with these granite chips. You get one come in, and then everything else behind it piles in log jam, which anybody's done it, they know what you're dealing with on this. What we try and do is make sure that all the passages are streamlined so that we minimize this. This is an air atomized gun. This is a very low pressure system. Unlike the gel coat, where you're taking a higher pressure and forcing it through a tiny tip, this is a large orifice. And all the pump is doing, we're only putting about 120 pounds of pressure on this pump. And this gun can also be used with a pressure pot, by the way, if somebody wanted to do that. But all that pump is doing is getting it up to the gun, and air is breaking it into its pattern. This is not the kind of gun you want to use for conventional gel coat because it's illegal for that, for the max rules, which since on granite you can use air atomization because that's the only way you can break the granite chips into a pattern because of their consistency and the texture. The material is coming out the center. And I can go over this in detail if somebody wants to look at this afterwards. But the material's coming out the center, and air mixed with catalyst is coming out these atomizing holes, and then they're mixing together inside this cap, this cone-shaped cap. So this is the air nozzle, this is the fluid nozzle, and this is the fluid tip. So this goes on here and just screws on tightly, and that's what breaks it into its pattern. The pattern shape is dictated by this nozzle tip. Depending upon how these are machined, you can get a wider or smaller pattern. Larger chips, we put a larger fluid tip and air nozzle slot on the end. This is kind of set up on a medium setup right now. Here, how long before that? All right, so one of the things I usually do when you get ready to go, we've got the slave pump unplugged right now, the slave arm undone. So if we open this recirculation valve, we can recirculate this material. That's picking it up off the bottom and pulling it out the pump and putting it in the truck. So right now we're getting everything mixed up a little bit and making sure everything's not settled. People want to know, I've been asked, you have to clean the machine out? No, you don't. You can leave what's in the machine in there. The only thing that's getting clean for the flushing is just this nozzle cap at the end. And the other part is when we do the color change, you'll find out how little material it takes to change colors. My suggestion is, if you got 5 colors to do during the day and you want to change colors, don't go from white to black in a single transition. Do progressive in colors. And what that allows you to do is, and we'll show this, you can take, we'll lift the pump up, we'll take this color out, and we'll wipe off the outside of the pump. And then we'll put the next color in and chase the next color with it, and without having to do anything in between. If you have too much of a contrast with colors, we can take a small one of these things and about half full it and put some clear gel coat in it and stick it down in an empty bucket and put the pump in there and just pump like a quart of clear gel coat through it and then chase it to the next color. So it takes very little bit to clean this out and change from one color to the next. And the fact that all the fluid passages are streamlined, that helps so that there's not want little nooks and crannies for the other stuff to hang, the last color to hang up in there. So we are ready to try this. I'm going to shut off the recirculation valve, turn on the trigger air. This right now when that's off, the trigger's dead. When you open it up, now it's an air trigger. And I'm just going to squirt some in here, make sure it's flowing good and everything's fine. Now you don't want this coming out. If you had the pressure up too high, if it's shot straight out, what would happen is it would push its way right through this air cap and it wouldn't get a mixture of catalyst into it. So you want this, you see how this is just drooping right off. You want that droop going on. You don't want a lot of force behind this. We're ready to get this a shot. So, you okay? You want to spray? Tell you what, can you grab one of those pieces of cardboard? Let me show it a little bit up against some cardboard first, and then we'll just put it over the side. And then you can take it and start spraying. Yes, go. A little grease on the threads. inside of this cap nicely with the solvent. But as with any type of gun like this, you build up a little bit of overspray on the outside, so you gotta keep things cleaned off. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to mix up another color, what he's doing right now, and change the color. So you see how quickly it takes, changes color in very little ways.
The volume of waste we're getting here is what's in the line. Put in like a 2/4 shell.
Oh, you were driving.
With that, the Cadillac, you can keep that out of the hub. One, a couple weeks.
Alright. So I'm going to kill all my pressures here. I'm going to dump the pressure here. When I open this valve, that kills the material pressure. Hold it in here.
They're not very effectively. This is not a great color. Great colors yeah. Why somebody hold that color? You gotta have a system for that. But maybe
I need that waste bucket there. Now, our clay pump is disconnected, so we're just dealing with material at the moment. Yep. Alright, so we're in the next material already, where the other material is chased out. Circulate a little bit. So I'm just pushing it through the hose now. get left behind. Now we'll do it. Okay. On that there one, and open up the valve all the way to the middle. That way we're going to go down there.
You want me to take it out of my bag? Hook that up?
What do you think, Bob? I don't know. You don't do any of this now, right?
The thing is where we're set up, we don't have a rail system. Everything's on carts. So I might have 3 molds on one cart. So if this one needs to be granite, I got to get these 2 off in order to spray granite. Otherwise, I get overspray. So that's why we're still
paper everything or no?
We've not done that.